I'm happy. I'm happy I didn't get the next team.
Yeah, this was the hardest one for me. Because it's the same thing we talked about with the Bucks. I talked about with the Warriors. Like everybody kind of has a gauge of what the Suns are and who matters. And like we're past the point. Like Mikal Bridges got $90 million. He's not underrated anymore. Everybody acknowledges he's, if not the best, he's one of the best wing defenders in the league. He makes threes. He's got more off. So we can't do that. Ayton's really good. Everybody knows it. Jay Crowder has been around for what feels like 1,000 years and just does the
Shooting
same
two
stuff.
trillion percent on floaters this year.
It just everybody
Yeah.
knows he's good. Chris Paul, we're gonna do Chris Paul, Devin Booker. So I just did Cam Johnson, which I don't know, like
That's love,
he,
man.
he
That's love. That's
he's
so love.
another guy that we know what he does. He's probably properly rated, but like 45% from deep. Um, he holds up defensively. He's okay there. He's like Bridges a year and 2 years ago is adding like the one dribble and two dribble stuff when he gets run off the line. He's capable, that type of thing. He plays a position that's just super valuable, the combo forward spot. And if you can hold up defensively and make threes, cool. He's admittedly like not asked to do a lot because I was looking so he takes 5.9 threes a game. 5.7 of them are either open or wide open. So like he's got just it's easy pickings for him, but like he's still got to make them and he does make them. So all that into the package of he's doing this on a team that is getting everyone's full attention every night. That is playing, he's done it against great teams. He's done it in playoff runs. Like, so it's almost by default, but I do think of the players on the Suns that maybe don't get appreciated enough. I kind of had to go with him, but this team was easily the most difficult in the West for me.
I probably went, or I probably would have went with Cam Johnson myself, just because I actually think there's more to his offensive game than just hitting those threes. And he's someone who can fly around in the half court and then hit those quick fire threes. He has like a nice connection with the players around him if they need him to pass. We've seen like him show these. I just don't think he's asked to do it enough, and he was doing a little bit more of it after the Chris Paul injury, and then during that brief time they didn't have Devin Booker before Cam Johnson gets injured, where he can hit some like off the dribble middies. So I think it has to be him just because there's a level of player there where he's the Suns' sixth man. And you're at a point where it's like, how do you find he's someone who should be playing 30 minutes per game? And even if the Suns sort of mishmash their rotation a little bit, I don't know how you find him 30 minutes a game just because of
No.
how important your top five players are. I do think you could go with Aaron Holiday based off how well he has played since the trade deadline for them. I think you could also go Ayton, and this might be recency bias for me kicking in, but I just expected, I don't know if I expected a drop off, but it felt like there was going to be a lot of self-discovery within the Suns when Chris Paul got injured as to what Ayton's value really was. And I think he's earned himself or solidified himself a bunch of money in restricted free agency by how, by and large, well, he's played on offense without Chris Paul. And our good friends over the Timeline Pod, Mike V. Hill and Sam Cooper, and then also David on Twitter is at the 4-point play with 4 spelled written as IV. They've pointed this out a bunch. Like Ayton is shooting like 60 something percent or ridiculous on hook shots this year. And so he has that aspect to his game. He still doesn't go up with as much force as you want, but the fact that the finesse within his game or like the touch that's a little bit further out from the basket than you would like is coming along. That's big for them. And there's what he does defensively. I personally think that Mikal Bridges is the best defender and most important defender on the Suns team. I think there'll be some people that make the case that it is Ayton. And if you look at I know we're dealing with someone on a rookie contract, but if you just look at where he was in his rookie season and then fast forward to now, he was still really good last year, but just like make the entire leap to this point. He's someone, the fact that we can have a conversation is Deandre Ayton, like the anchor of the Suns defense is just like a wild thing to think. So they're not a team that I wanted because the options are just so sparse, but also maybe because they're one of my favorite watches. I find it funny when people say that they play too slow and they're like per unpredictable. They're like 5th in average possession time because it's like, they're not traditional transition, but like they get out in semi-transition and make quick decisions. And they're just so good. So they're so good that I don't know if they have anyone who's underrated. I think it's Cam Johnson just because we probably don't know the full extent of his game just yet, even with sort of the flickers into his offensive offensive portfolio that we've gotten